Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to Not Perfect Zen. This video is going to be a little bit different, mostly informative. I meant to do this anyway, and then I got a question about the 2x2 tiles that I always show at the beginning of my videos to show the patterns that I'm going to use. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that system. I had a question about it. Let me back out. On this. Okay. So this is how I store those 2x2 tiles. This is a coin collector type page that I got from Amazon.com. And to begin with, when I found Zentangle, this was late in 2017. I was going to a college, a junior college, and there was a display out for Zentangle. And I eventually met the CZT. Her name is Victoria McMillan, and I took classes from her. And she was a member of Annie Oaken's art club. And Annie has a video, or actually a lesson, on how to choose your patterns. And this is the front page of that. I purchased this lesson from Annie Oaken. And in that, she mentions how to choose your patterns and how to organize them. So from the very beginning, my CZT Victoria had encouraged us to get these sleeves, and each time we learned a new pattern, we put that little pattern card into this sleeve. So they just slip in to the front. Now, originally these were in alphabetical order, but as I got more and more of these put into it, and new tangles come out, they're not necessary. They're added at the end, so they're not necessarily in order. Another thing that happened was when I became or decided to become a CZT, I wanted to go through all of the Zentangle patterns and create the little 2x2s for each of the headquarters patterns. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, and I went to tanglelist.com because the tanglelist.com site has links to all of the Zentangle patterns. At least it did at that time. It's not kept up to date anymore, but you can still get a link to either videos or step outs for all of the Zentangle patterns. Okay, so that was my start. When I started teaching Zentangle, I also taught how to use these, but rather than telling people they have to buy that kind of thing, I printed up just these squares. And there's 16 squares and enough room that you could put the tangle name here. And if you wanted to put the name of the person that deconstructed it down below. And if you're interested in this, you can contact me at notperfectzen@gmail.com, and I can send you a PDF that you could print if you're interested in doing this. So that's another way of organizing your patterns. You could do one of these pages for each category. So for instance, I have these little tags, and this one is headquarters patterns, and this one is vines. So when I started doing recently the mandalas that were botanical, I went through the Tangle Patterns website, finding new patterns, and also the Muster Kell website to find new patterns. And this corner, I put the name of it. This could be a vine or something that's usable in a vine to add to it for mandalas. So you could categorize them any way that you want. Another way that people organize their patterns, and Sandy Kelly Jones, if you are part of the Today's Tangles Keeping It Classic group, she shows the patterns that she's going to use on these little tags. Let me show you a blank one first. But these also you can find on Amazon. And these little cards are, let's see, do inches first. So it's about 3.5 inches or about 9 centimeters. And then across it is about 2 inches or 5.5 centimeters. Okay. And the nice thing about doing it this way is that you could also categorize and put the little tabs in there if you wanted to, but it's easier to keep them in order. So this is another way that you can organize your patterns. Now here I started putting them front and back, so that would negate the idea of keeping them in alphabetical order. But just to show you, there's an idea for a way to organize your patterns. For these, we were doing some watercolor and then adding a pattern on top like that. So just some ideas for what you could do. And like I said, when I started looking for the patterns for vines and ideas for my mandalas, one of the first things I did was I went to tanglepatterns.com and looked through, tried to find botanical patterns, and there are categories like that, but they're not all necessarily actually at Tangle Patterns I don't think they have a botanical category, but at musterkel.com they do. And I will leave links to those two websites are always in the descriptions of my videos. But I want to show you just real quick how I was going through the Tangle Patterns website. So I am going to share my screen. Okay. So one of the things I was doing was going to tanglepatterns.com and just literally looking through these patterns A through Z. And so if I go to A, I would just scroll down through these and see if there were new patterns that I like and wanted to add to my categories. Abundance would go into botanical for me. I might find a new grid pattern that I want to try, and so I would just make note of that pattern and then make the 2x2s and then add it to my categories. Okay. And I do want to tell you that I do have a tutorial here. So if you go to this tab and click tutorials and scroll down a little bit right here, this is how to use tanglepatterns.com. And when I put this tutorial together, I went through the site extensively and I found a lot of great information, even for myself. And so this is on my YouTube channel, and I'll try to remember to put a link to that in the description below this. So again, just going through A, B, C, and I think I am in H or I right now. When I go to pick up my grandchildren at school, I have a long line to sit in. And while we're waiting and the cars aren't moving, I look through the different patterns that are available in alphabetical order. This is a real cute one, so I would probably put that in my botanical category. And I play with them and decide if I like them. And then if I do, then I do a video for you. Okay, so let's see. I think mainly that's what I wanted to say. When I create one of these patterns, and let me stop sharing. Okay, so when I create one of these 2x2s, one of my questions on the comments was, do I put step outs on the back? And no, I don't. I generally keep these blank unless, at least on the back, or I'll put some notes on the back. If there are variations that I want to remember or something about the steps that I want to remember, then I'll write it on the back. I think that's mainly what I wanted to say with this one. If you ever have any questions like that, I love getting questions. I love finding the answers if I can. And I hope that this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next video. I'm not going to do anything as far as the tile today. My daughter is getting married just a couple of days. And so I have things to do, but I like to make sure that I answer questions and show you some ideas. Oh, I know the last thing I wanted to say was that rather than these 2x2s now, Any Oaken has the Art Raffle app. And I do have a video about how to use the Art Raffle app, so that if you don't want to do this or do the little page that I showed you like this, then Any has I think close to 500 patterns in the Art Raffle app now, and it's a great source, and it's right there on your phone or your iPad. I don't think they have it for the computer. It's just a mobile app, but there you go. Let me know what you think, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.